102.7 WMOM, 9:15, 15 minutes after 9 o'clock. It is a Wednesday, March 15th. Welcome to it. Chris here, and blue skies, sunshine outside, and in the studio with us, we're going to be talking about a performance coming up at Peterson Auditorium starting tomorrow, which is pretty cool. And we'll be talking with the drama director. She is in the studio with us, Chris Plummer. Good morning to you, and thanks for coming in this morning.
Good morning.
Absolutely. And do you want to introduce the students that you have with us today?
I would love to.
Okay.
Well, today we only have 4 out of the 9 or 10 cast members, but we have over there in the far corner Erin Rasbach, who plays Oliver Ostrovsky.
Okay, wave at the camera there. There you
They'll
go.
talk about their characters. They're fun characters. Grace Johnston, who plays Logan Schwartz and Grubenier.
Okay.
Interesting name. That has a reason.
All right.
Aiden Sly, who plays Mitch Mahoney, the comfort counselor, which is a very funny character in and of itself. Will Luce plays Chip Tolentino.
There you go.
And Chip is a Eagle Scout, Boy Scout. I think he's just a Boy Scout at this time. He hasn't become an Eagle Scout yet, but so those are some of the lively characters from the show.
All right, we're looking forward to this. This is opening up tomorrow night.
Yeah.
And over the next couple of minutes, we'll talk with the students about their individual characters. But let's talk about the overall show in itself. 25th anniversary of it, right?
Well, it's called the 25th anniversary Putnam County, 25th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee.
Okay.
The musical is been around for, I think, 2005, 2006 is when it started, when it originated on Broadway. Tony Award winning, many other kinds of Drama Desk awards for music and for the book. And it's just one of the funniest shows I have personally ever seen, and I love it to death. It's crazy, it's quirky, it's bizarre. And if for people in the public, I think there were, what is his name? Ferguson, Jesse Taylor Ferguson. Yeah, that actor who's on Modern Family originated one of the roles from this show.
Oh, wow.
But it's interesting because it was created through improv. A comedy troupe called The Farm came up with one little tiny scene, and from that tiny scene, they all created this show. So each of the characters, each of the actors created the roles, and then these wonderful, quirky people came about. So I just love it. It's so funny. Audience participation, which is really important. 4 people from the audience every night will be asked to be spellers. Join the spellers on stage. Insanity ensues from there. But everyone's going to have so much fun. It's just the funniest, liveliest, but touching too. Because really it's about a coming-of-age story about these young middle school, not middle-aged, I'm the middle-aged. I'm older than that. No, but middle school-age kids who are just dealing with being weird and bizarre, but also nerdy spellers. So they're just great. They'll talk about their characters. So I hope everyone comes and sees the show.
This is cool. And for those that might be in the front row or the first few rows, that's those individuals that might be pulled up on stage, or should we plan on, if we don't want to come on stage, we're in the back of the row?
No, you will get called. We're trying to find people even beforehand to come and be there. But if we don't have enough, we may ask people that just randomly, hey, you want to be a speller?
That's cool.
Because not everybody feels comfortable doing that. And I wouldn't want somebody up there going,
no, I believe it.
Yeah, right. So.
How, talking with the students here in a moment, but before we do that, how difficult is it to be a performer in such, we go to musicals and we go to, performances in general, but how difficult is it to be, to sing, to perform, to try to make somebody laugh, especially when you're in high school? And this is a lot of pressure, I would assume, isn't it?
Oh, well, sure. Well, that's what I love about it. I mean, they can talk to that more too. It's a learning experience, but musicals, I don't know. There's something otherworldly about them, right? We don't go down the street talking and all of a sudden break into song. But that's what musicals are. And they touch us in a real visceral way because music it adds so much. But I think for musical theater, certainly this show, it's character driven. So the music that these their characters sing are really indicative of who they are. So it speaks to them. It's another way of sort of communicating character through just dialogue that happens to be put to music. So.
Okay. All right. We're talking with Drama Director Chris Plummer this morning, as well as Erin, Grace, Will, and Aiden in the studio with us. Let's chat with the four of you. Grace, I'm going to have you step up to the microphone first, if you don't mind, and take us through your character that you're going to be starting this Thursday, by the way. Take us through that character. Explain who you're performing as.
So I play Logan Schwarzengrubinier, who is the youngest of all the kids, and she's like 10 or so. She has a lisp, so carrying that out through the whole entire show is very fun. Yes. And her character is all about trying to impress her dads because she's always been pressured to be great and be a winner. In one of our songs, like my main song, she's like saying that like her dads are telling her, hey, don't be a loser, we don't like losers here, you have to be a winner. So she goes through that pressure of always trying to win and not disappoint. Mm-hmm. So she just has all this stress built up and she just goes crazy because it's like so much pressure added up.
Is that a message that eventually, without giving too much of it away, but that you want the audience to really understand what you're trying to say throughout the performance?
Yes, I think so, because, it's just like all these kids have a lot of pressure on them because they have so many outside factors. There's so much going on. That's what I love about how each character has so much going on, more than them just being a kid in a spelling bee. They all have stories, and there's just so much more to them that you learn throughout the show. So I think that's very cool.
Very cool. All right. Let's see. Let's talk with Aiden for a moment. Aiden, you are resting your voice, I assume, a little bit. Is that because there is going to be some high notes, some low notes? Is it just because other reasons?
It's mostly because of high notes.
Okay.
Mitch is fun in a sense where he gets to be more gospel than everyone else because he's one of the few adults in the show.
Okay.
He's a comfort counselor, so whenever spells get eliminated, he helps them off stage, takes their number, gives them a juice box, just helps them feel better.
Gives them a juice box.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they get a juice box.
That's cool.
It happens.
But what is Mitch?
Mitch just so happens to be a convict out on parole doing community service.
Okay.
So it's so much more fun to play with him like that.
Did you get a chance to pick your roles in most cases, or was this one like, oh, I got to do this one?
When I first heard of what Mitch was and kind of how he is, I really did want to be Mitch because it's more fun that way, I guess.
It's very cool. And those high notes, you'd mentioned this in the early part of as we were talking there. Those high notes difficult for you to do, or is it like, hey, this is natural for me? What is that like?
It's very natural because though I sing tenor in the school's choir, arts chorale, I actually lean more towards kind of a countertenor range, which is kind of like a male alto soprano range. Mm-hmm. So I feel more comfortable in those higher notes. So it's the low end that kind of is a little bit harder for me.
Very cool. All right, let's talk with Grace for a moment. And Erin there. Sorry, I'm mixing up names there. Let's talk with Erin. Erin, the pressure, and I use that in a light way, but let's talk about learning lines, being able to, the difficulty of this. And was it very difficult? Is it very difficult? And how do you explain that to those that, one, I can't sing, I can't play an instrument, but as a performer, hopefully you're able to adapt to this. What was that process like for you?
Yeah, it was pretty nerve-wracking because if you forget a line, that can throw everybody else off. Mm-hmm. So it's really important that you learn your stuff. And so I worked with my mom. I went over them over and over again, so I knew my stuff.
Yeah. Is there a point, and I say this not to scare you at all, but is there a point where in any show that if you lose your line, if you're like, oh man, I don't know what my next lyric is, what do you do in those moments? Have you ever been in that situation at all?
Yeah, it's like a stomach drop. You you can panic for a second, but then you got to get right back on. And I know I'm really guilty of showing it on my face that I've messed up, but I've got to learn not to show it and just keep moving. You know, keep it going.
How much do you rely on your other performers to keep you going? Because I can imagine that situation, and not that I'm trying to jinx you at all, because that's not the goal of this question, but it does happen where you lose lines, right? I mean, it just and so I would assume you have that tingling feeling like, oh my gosh, where am I at in this? But everybody is there to help you and keep you going, right?
Yeah, you can rely on them. You know they'll be there to help. They can adapt their lines if you need something to help pick you back up into it. And, it's really a team effort.
And the best thing is that the audience normally doesn't know, do they?
Yeah, that's that face thing. I can't show that I messed up.
Nobody knows if you don't show it.
That's cool. Well, if you're just joining us here on Mom FM, we're talking with Erin, Grace, Will, and Aiden, as well as Drama Director Chris Plummer in the studio with us. And we haven't put him on the hot seat yet, but Will, we want to come over and chat with us for a moment here. Will, take us through your character and what can we expect tomorrow night on the opening night for you?
Oh, well, I play a kid by the name of Chip Tolentino. He's a Little League pitcher, Boy Scout, and he actually won the 24th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee. So he's a little full of himself, He's kind of big shot on campus here. So, but I don't want to give too much away. But obviously, we talked about a coming of age kind of like character development show.
Yeah.
And so Chip, I think, learns a lot about himself and. Yeah, I mean it's interesting. You'll have to come and see.
Absolutely, yeah. Don't give it completely away.
A little teaser.
But I think that's pretty cool. I think Chris, that we have 4 students that obviously are excited about the performance. They have their own characters and personality. And how many performers are we expecting tomorrow night for opening night? You've got 4 in the studio here, but how many total?
Well, normally, and that's interesting, I kind of padded it out with 1 extra actor because the way it's traditionally done, there are 6 spellers, 6 main spellers, and then there are 3 adults. There's Mitch, who is the comfort counselor, Rona Peretti, who is the sort of overseer of it, and she kind of is the MC, and then Panch, who is Vice Principal Panch, who is he gives the words. He's the monitor, so to speak.
Yep.
But then there's the 2 dads, which Logan talked about, her 2 fathers, and so I had a wonderful group of people audition, young men. So I had another young man who plays one of those characters. So we have 10 in total, but there's normally only 9. But they're all so wonderful. And Erin didn't get a chance to talk about, well, because she was talking about other important things, but her character of Olive is really the one character that's sort of serious and has a really sad backstory, and each of these kids have interesting backstories. But that's what I love about it, that each character is so, you just love them so much. They're precious. And another character, Leaf Coney Bear, who is, I don't want to say he's my favorite, but he's kind of my favorite. He's a homeschooled young man who's never been in an auditorium, never been in a gymnasium, never been anywhere. He wears a helmet, he wears a cape. He's very odd. He has a puppet. He's just so wonderful. You fall in love with these young people. They're precious. And it's such a great opportunity for them to play people that are closer to their age, younger than they are, but closer to their age than most shows that we tend to do they have to be older than they are. So it's been I hope they've been having a great time because it's been so much fun for me. I love this show.
It sounds like it's going to be a great performance. Let's talk about some of the final details. It is opening tomorrow night, Thursday. It runs Thursday through Sunday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday at 7:30 p.m.
Correct.
And then on Sunday, a matinee at 2 o'clock. And Erin, I know we didn't get a chance to, as Mrs. Plummer was mentioning, but to talk about your character. But I do want you to talk about your character. Take us through, as we wrap up today's segment, about who you're performing as, and kind of build on what Mrs. Plummer said.
Yeah, I play Olive Ostrowski, and she's a pretty shy and reserved girl, but she loves just words and everything to do with them. She's very smart, but she also kind of is sad because, you know, she's hoping some people will be there for her who don't always do that. So
Okay, very cool. All right, one more question for all of you, and that is, and we'll start with Grace on this, is what's your favorite moment, without giving too much away, of the performance in general? Now that you've been practicing for how many weeks, by the way? What's the weeks look like?
Ooh, that's
Almost 7 weeks about.
7 weeks. Okay, so your favorite moment?
Oh, it's really hard to say. You mean like the favorite moment of the show, or
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Well, yeah, it's really hard because the whole thing is just high energy, going crazy, very fun. So it's really hard to pick a favorite moment, but I really like when we perform the song Magic Foot because there's a lot of really fun choreography in there.
Okay.
So yeah.
Very cool. All right. And Erin, you want to give us your thoughts?
I think I like the song, the I Love You song the most, just because I have the most fun performing it, and it really is kind of a different take on the character.
Okay.
It brings it down a little bit, but in a good way.
Okay, very cool. Will, what do you got? Or right, Will?
Aiden or Will, whichever one
Aiden,
wants
go
to
ahead. You're
go
next.
up.
Yep, sorry.
Go up, whoever's
fine.
closest
There
to
you
the
go.
mic.
Yep.
I think my song, Prayer the Comfort Counselor, is my favorite because I get to just
Go crazy.
I get to let loose and have a little bit of fun. It's more fun than
Yeah.
you normally get with this.
Yeah, Grace was gonna tease you a little bit, I would assume, on that one. And then Will, finally for you, what's your favorite moment?
Of course, I am partial to my own song, Chip's Lament, which I can't reveal a lot of information about, but it is just a whole lot of fun. I get to interact with the audience a lot, and I get to be like emotional in a funny way.
Okay, very
But
cool.
it's real fun.
All right, this is good. There's still a lot of mystery to
Yes.
it, which is exciting. So tickets. Let's talk about purchasing tickets, when people should arrive and be in their seats. All of the logistics side of that.
Well, you know, it's this is my 21st or 22nd year. I can't remember, Chris. I'm so old, I don't know.
No.
I'm getting addled. But no, I have not raised the ticket prices, which is so that everybody can come. Student, it's only a mere $3 for students and seniors, $5 for anyone else, any general audience member, and we don't actually sell paper tickets. It's at the door. So just come and get your ticket at the door and get your program and have a seat. And
Okay.
Peterson's ginormous, so there's never a problem with seating.
Absolutely. And then performance time wise, so what should we expect in
Well,
regards
the
to that?
door for the 7:30 curtain, the house opens at 7.
Okay.
And for the 2:00 matinee, we'll open at 1:30. So you can arrive as early as that.
And how long is the show itself?
It's about 90 minutes, no
Okay.
intermission, straight through. Boom. It
All right.
goes. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right. It's at Peterson Auditorium's opening night tomorrow night for Thursday. And then Friday, Saturday at 7:30, those 3 nights, 2:00 on Sunday. And if they want more information, where are we sending them to? Do we have information up on the high school website? If
I have
not-
a Facebook page. They can
Okay.
certainly go to LHS Drama Club Facebook
Perfect.
page. Yeah.
All right, let's do that. And as well, if you missed any of this segment, you can catch it archived at WMOM on Facebook and as well on our YouTube channel. So make sure you check that out. LHS's performance, once again, for us, it's called...
The 25th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee.
All right, looking forward to that.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody, for coming in this morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Chris.
You got it. It is 9:33 on 102.7 WMOM. Stick with us. More music on the way. Sam Smith, Ian Duor, and more on 102.7. It is Mom FM.
Your hit music.